Welcome to Draping 101. Today we're going to talk about lengthening and shortening where the bust dart lands. So we're going to be concerned about this part of the garment from the shoulder to the waist, and this bust dart, which I've outlined in a red ribbon so you can actually see where it is in the video. Now, the bust dart, we want the bust dart to fall within a 6-inch circle of the bust, of the apex of the bust, or a 3-inch radius, so we figure out what your math is. But this bust dart is way off. It is almost 5 inches from here, from the tip of the bust dart to the center of the bust. So we need to take this bust dart up. We know that. One of the first things you want to do before you start making any kind of adjustments to your garment is to pin it closed or button it closed to make sure that this section is actually correct before we start making adjustments to the rest of it. Same goes for a dress or a pair of pants or something. You would pin up the opening where the zipper is or the buttons to close it up to make sure that you have the everything is put together the way it's supposed to be before we start making changes. Now, changing this length of this bust dart on where it falls is going to change the garment below, and we'll discuss that at another time. But imagine if you lifted this up or lowered it, this hem is going to change, the waist is going to change. But the goal here is to make sure that these garments fit your body, not the fit model's body. So in this case, this bust dart is way too low, right? And when we want to make changes to the dart, we want to try to lower or raise it in between where the dart is and the bottom of the arm scythe. If we don't have to cut through the armhole, then we don't have to make other adjustments. If we can make these changes in between the two, in that short little space, then it'll be much easier. So our goal for this garment is to lift this bust dart up. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to start by lifting it up 2 inches. So I'm going to pinch the fabric together underneath the arm scythe and above the top of the bust dart, and I'm going to pin it. So I'm pinching 1 inch, and it's 1 inch going one way on one side and 1 inch going on the other side. And you're going to do this all the way around the garment. You have to do it in the back also. You can't raise the front piece and then not raise the back piece also. So I'm going to pin this inch out. And it's going to go all the way across the garment. It goes across to the other side and all the way around the back. And you can see I have this flange that I've pinned out. Now normally you would do this, you can't sew this in a garment that's already made. Normally you would do this in a practice garment, and that's one of the best reasons for making muslins or practice garments. So that's another video, and you should definitely check that out. But now you can see here is the center of my bust right here, and here is my bust dart, and it's pretty good. It's in the right place. It's high enough. It's still a little short, so I might extend it a little bit longer, but that's definitely a different class. But the goal is to get this within a 3-inch radius of the center of the bust dart, and that looks tremendously better, and it's going to fit the model better. So I'm going to show you how to make this adjustment on the pattern, because like I said, normally you would do this on a muslin or practice garment, right? So we're going to make this shorter. We're going to do that right now. All right, we're going to take the front of McCall's 7542. That's this. Isn't that cute? That's a really cute pattern. Now this pattern actually has the bust dart way up high. It's way up above the bust. That's a different issue. We'll tackle that next. But right now we're going to talk about shortening this. On that blouse I shortened it 1 inch, and I shortened it between this arm scythe edge and the bust dart here. Get my ruler. You want to get between this point in the arm scythe and the top of the bust dart. All right, And this actually, on this pattern, it has this little X here. That's where the center of the bust should go on this particular pattern. That's where it should fit. That's the plan. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to shorten it 2 inches, right? We're going to shorten it 1 inch going up and 1 inch going back. That's what we pinched out. So we're going to mark a line on this garment between the bust dart and the arm scythe. We're going to measure up 1 inch, right? And draw another line. And we're going to shorten this. So we're going to fold it on that line, on the first line, and then fold it on the second line and shorten that. So now we have shortened this garment between the arm scythe and the top of the bust dart 2 inches. So now my pattern has been redrafted, so I can go ahead and use this pattern, this tissue. I know this is going to work. I would tape this closed, and there we go. I mean, that's a pretty simple, easy fix for taking the bust dart that was way too low and just lifting it up 2 inches. So you can do that. You can do that, right? Just remember that it's going to affect the rest of the garment, and in the next draping video we'll discuss what to do with the waist and how to make those changes. But if you're short-waisted, if you're short between the waistline and the shoulder and your bust darts are always too low and your blouses are baggy and they don't fit right, this is the way you want to fix them. All right, let's talk about what happens when a bust dart is too high. Okay? Here in this pattern, and it's adorable and it's very young, but you can see that this bust dart is way up here on her, right? The bust dart is way above her bust. This is the center of her bust. Here's the bust dart. That is very modern and very chic right now, but you know, for my taste, not so perfect. For her taste, maybe it's great. I mean, you have to make that determination. But if your bust dart falls up there and you want to lower it, you want to bring it down, it's too high, right? It's very simple. It's almost the same process, right? We're going to extend this garment between the arm scythe and the top of the bust. So I'm going to use this line that I drew, this first line that I drew for my and we're going to pretend now that we're just going to lengthen it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut along that line. So I've cut my tissue along that line, and I'm just using some scrap tissue. I'm going to add this tissue in. Now, if I wanted to extend my bust line 1 inch, then I would tape this tissue, this piece, the bottom half that I've cut off, and tape the top half 1 inch above that, making sure that I've aligned the side seams and the center front seam on this one, and tape them down, and then you can lop this extra stuff off. And now you've lengthened this piece between the arm slice and the top of the bust line, and what you have done is you've actually lowered the dart. Now, again, you've lowered the waist, you've lowered the hips, you've lowered everything, but today we're concerned about what's going on between the waistline and the shoulder and how we make this bust dart move up and down our garment. Simple, right? Simple, easy. You need to make it 2 inches, you just make this 2 inches. So that is how we change a bust dart on our garments. Okay, so that is a very easy way to make our bust dart length go up and down so it's falls within 6 inches of the circle. Now just remember, the adjustments that we made to the front piece of the pattern, you need to make those same adjustments to the back. So if you shortened it 1 inch or you shortened it 2 inches to move the bust dart up, then you also need to change the pattern in the back. You need to shorten it and make that shortening line go all the way around the garment, because you need to keep the waist and the hip pieces in the same place as they move up and down. right? Think about that. If this is the hip and this is the waist and this is the bust, and if we shorten the front and not the back, the pieces aren't going to fit together. So we need to shorten them as a unit. The whole unit goes up or the whole unit comes down. Same thing if you cut through the front and add some tissue in there to lengthen the front and lower the bust dart, then you also need to lower the back piece the same amount to make sure that those pieces are balanced and that they go in together, because this seam here needs to be the same length for the front and the back to sew together correctly. So there you have it, pretty simple, moving that bust dart up and down. Again, make sure that you look at making a muslin, and I will put the link for that down below. It's definitely important if you're making a garment to make a practice garment. We aren't fit models. We come in all different shapes and sizes, and it's really important that our garments fit us correctly. We will be much happier with the clothes that we wear if they fit us appropriately. Until next time, I'm Sandy from Sewing with Sandy, and I want to thank you for watching this video. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and check out Barrett's Custom Design for lots of other great things going on in the sewing world. Bye.